in England. Capitol said no.
God damn it.
It was fucking ridiculous. And I was like, Danny, I don't want to fucking go back. And
it's going to be in Germany on a silver platter.
Yeah, we went in Germany
on a silver fucking platter.
Man, I tell you, I started crying when I left. When I remember leaving, I was like, God, fucking damn it! It's like,
and then when we left, all the office came down to see us off, man, at the airport.
Yeah.
What?
So So how did you acclimatize back in America, and how did that experience in Europe, did it start to color your musical outlook?
Yeah, well, actually, when we got back from England, there was a vibe in the air. There was a feeling in the air. It was kind of like distortions, because Mandela was still in jail, and there was still this things going on in South Africa, and then all these ripples of racial shit started happening in America.
The Rodney King thing.
Yeah, happened. No, that was very cool. But the thing about it is, What happened is, I remember it because I went to a Fishbone show, and I remember the show was over. It's right after we got from England, and Fish was like, "Yo, man, I'm glad y'all back," because we had planned to do some recording with Fishbone initially before all this happened, and we had finished the album with Robin, and I noticed he had this Malcolm X button on and this other thing with Public Enemy
coming up,
and I was like, "Oh, okay," and I knew something was coming up.
Yeah, man.
You know, that was a good feeling, because it was way before white folks started putting money into gangster rap and overflooding it with all that kind of shit. Now, mind you, some of that shit's kind of hot, but it was the age of consciousness in rap music. It was like the renaissance of the 70s, like in America, kind of.
Yeah.
And at that point, Danny and I wanted to keep fighting, and with Joe and Marvin, and we were offered 2 more deals. That's how good we were. And we went with Polygram, right? This is a second. This is after getting kicked off Polygram. No, Capitol, right? And I remember we were on MTV that time. Right after that.
Yeah, after getting dropped from Capitol.
We were on MTV.
Yeah, no, dropped from
Yeah, and they talked about Robin, Echo and the Bunnymen, and New Order. How can a black band from Raleigh, North Carolina be influenced by blah, 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 blah?
Yeah.
And then, of course, they joked about our names, which was stupid. But anyway.
So you came back. You've been through the mill. We
went on tour. We came back, went on tour to Jesus and Mary Chain, and commenced to kicking their ass every night. Because, Robin, they're Scots, right? So they did us a favor and took us on like 2 weeks worth of dates, right?
Yeah. US, we did like Midwest and stuff like that. And then
you told me a rather interesting little story the other day about you guys, I think it was when you Jesus and the Mary Chain, you would put Confederate flags over your amps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that wasn't this. There was a Smithereens tour, and then
I think we did too.
And then like nobody would know what kind of band it was, and so before you the show starts, you see all the rebel flag shit on the amps, right? So here we come walking out, these black dudes coming out here, kind of confused them. They were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I actually wear a Confederate suit on stage. Awesome.
How do you think people reacted to that?
I mean, well, we were playing in a really, really. We were playing in
Biloxi, Mississippi.
The armpit of the South. We played, man, and like one guy said, "I ain't never seen no brother with the stars and bars." I said, "Well, we fought in the war too, And he's like, oh, then like, the most relatable thing to them was the fact that we opened up a lot of eyes, maybe possibly to people that not necessarily, have listened to us in the first place. You know what I'm saying? We did our share of juke joint places in the South, man. And
yeah, we did our fair share.
Yeah, we did our fair share, definitely. Being that black band way down in the South, man. can't say we didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
So all that influence from places, records, Japanese culture, whatever. How did that? Has that all culminated in where you are now in terms of the bizarre noir concept? And how did that bizarre noir concept come about?
You saying that experience did it
All culminates to this point where you said, okay, let's do bizarre noir, and just explain what bizarre noir is.
No, I mean, we were never invited to any kind of festivals. We were always left out of festivals. So I just decided to do our own like idea of it. And I think, yeah, I was sitting with a friend of mine here in town. His name is Mike Allen, and I was saying, man, dude, why doesn't North Carolina ever have any cool shit? Because what I used to hate about when I was younger is that all the bands, they never toured North Carolina, and I was like, well, you had to go to DC. There's always DC or Richmond you had to go to, right? So I thought to myself, if I was a kid nowadays, I would want to create something for somebody that was me, who was black, didn't necessarily what I'm trying to say is a black kid with well-rounded friends who probably call white or faggot or whatever, the misfit people, as you can call them. And because back then I didn't have anywhere to go, any kind of thing to be associated with other than the goths in school and the heavy metal dudes in smoking court, So I thought, damn, why don't I just do our own shit? We are constantly talking shit about other stuff. And I just said, why it's not good to give out negative karma to people because somebody likes it for different reasons. So you can't be that narrow-minded. So I just said, rather than do that, let's create my own thing. And that's what I did. It was first called the North Carolina Festival of Psychedelia because I wanted to put forth what it would be like to have, this type of event here in North Carolina. But I got bored with that because I wanted to reach more people and I wanted to have to reflect more of me as a black person. And even in its concept of more bizarre, it initially was about presenting black artists in between the gray area post-COVID. And in comparison with W.E.B. Du Bois' Le Rive Vinaigre. No, that was Josephine Baker, but no. The state fair thing he did, the World's Fair exposition of the black man in America post-slavery. So I wanted to transfix that to now with a kind of a bohemian, a black bohemian context because a black bohemian he has all kinds of friends, like the spectrum can't be covered. So that's what I initially wanted it to look like. So we started it September in the middle of COVID or something like that.
Yeah, in the middle. We were talking to Greg Tate and Vernon Reed from Living Color, and Vernon was talking about yeah, man, we all need to get together before we get too old. Do this thing.
Right.
And
that's exactly right. Danny's right because and that's a good point because they love black folks when they did. So I didn't even think that's why I was going to let the catalyst of it be the black intelligentsia like Greg, like Vernon, and all those characters like that. Because they were in that renaissance of black awareness, which is why they opened the door for that actually. Mm-hmm. Living Color did, and that's why I initially started Noir Bazaar because I said, I was thinking of an image. It looked like it was a black lights poster, right? Of black folks fucking on there. I said, what would be, okay, what would be? It's like, okay, I don't know why I said it because I speak a little French. I said, what about strange black? And I said, Le Bison Noir. I said, oh, it's cool. I said, oh shit, I gotta call that nigga Vernon. So I called Vernon. I said, Vernon, got this idea, right? And Brendan started going, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. He goes, but who you really should call was Greg Tate. So I called Greg Tate. He was like, yeah. And Greg's quote was, I have a dream pop.
I have a dream pop. Yeah, man.
And that's what we've been leading with.
Yeah.
So because Greg understood us.
Sure did, man.
He was one of the foremost black writers that in the beginning, in the early days of the Veldt, he really championed
us to the Village Voice.
Yeah.
He was, head of Burnt Sugar and everything like that he's done and whatnot. His legacy is that kind of influence of black bohemia, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, I guess we kind of have to bring it into the 21st century, the black existentialism, black, futurism, the whole thing that was, trying to start with maybe like with James Spooner when he did his thing with Afropunk. In the beginning of Afropunk, it was all about those who didn't have the platform. And I think that what we've been looking for all along is a platform that we can, make our own and as a business and show what we have to offer too as a people. I don't think we've had a good opportunity, but I don't think that to the extent of most people that in white groups. I think
you're saying you haven't had the same opportunity as
we've had opportunities.
No, of course, no, we have.
We've had opportunities, but not to the extent of white artists.
Oh, okay.
That's what I know for a fact. You can say we tour with this person and that person, but that person and that person, they're white. So I'm saying they obviously got more of a ground hold to get out there and get across to people. The more they have a machine. They have machines behind them to convey the message.
Yeah, we never had that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why our career is that's why our career is fragmented, not a fragment, but it's fragmented.
Because people who didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But they'll get a motherfucker on stage with his pants hanging down and talking about shooting other niggas. You know what I'm saying? They understand that. You understand? And they understand that any black person that's dead. They understand those, what their contribution was after they're gone. But since we run an amount that we're doing now, not many people want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of backlash recently from people, and it's ironic, some guy says, oh, you still trying to be relevant. And I said, oh, yeah, I am. I said, and the guy says, wow. I said, yeah, wow, says the white guy with dreadlocks, shit like that.
Yeah, I don't really care much about like internet stuff people say. Then he'll fight them all night long. But the relevancy of this is the fact that we are from the time when all that stuff was actually real. It wasn't called shoegaze and it wasn't called dream pop and all. It was just it wasn't called anything. It just said
it's alternative.
Yeah, ethereal, whatever. It wasn't like that at all. So when they put us in it, I just said, all right, fine, whatever. Because we always change it. Like Bowie, he was good at being a chameleon. So Danny and I are really easy to change with the times within our own context. Because we did already. We were just ahead of everything.
I remember saying to you the other day that I felt that this incarnation of the Veldt is the most powerful. Would you agree with that?
This incarnation?
Yeah.
I think it would if we had the right people to play with.
Yeah, I mean, we got people to play with now, but I mean, everybody has lives, so they're not as dedicated to it as we are.
It's difficult to be in a band like that.
Yeah,
because people, you can't just people that want to have security and this type of thing. My brother and I are the only one who are like
taking a chance with the last years of their lives with this bullshit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, Jamie?
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't abuse our body. Danny and I were too scared to do drugs back then, and when we should have done. But so we didn't really abuse our body. So hopefully that'll work for us.
You spoke about legacy to me the other day.
Well,
How important is it for you to communicate?
It's important to me because I want my grandkids to know what I did. I mean, they have an idea, but they just think it's kind of weird. they don't.
They talk too much.
They don't really get it. But they, you know, they came to see me play a couple of times, you know, and you know, they were like looking at me like I'm crazy when.
What they say?
Peyton was trying to put in the little socket to the foot pedal down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have those these kids around that type of thing. You know, I mean, not a lot of, from our standpoint, Black children are exposed to this type of like atmosphere.
Yeah, they're exposed to different, you know, gangster. All this gangster shit, man. It's like it's in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying, man? It's like, say what you will. I mean, you know, I got respect. I got respect. I got respect for all that kind of stuff, man. But it's like, but
that's something that should be bumping.
Yeah, be bumping. But I'm just saying, like, you know, when you're around it all the time, and that's all the example you got. What else you gonna, you know, anything like that comes out of left field, you're gonna think it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you?
What's that?
So, what would you like Noir Bizarre, stroke the Veldt? Do you consider? I'm sorry. Do you consider? Scrap the first question. Do you consider the Veldt Noir Bizarre almost like an art movement?
An art project?
Art movement rather than project.
Yeah, I see it as the same way that, like, you know, Andy Warhol did his shit. You know, a black pop art kind of explosion kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, you know, in that in that aspect, some of the artwork that I built around Noir Bizarre was based on, like, you know, films I've seen, you know, from the 60s, because I like, Danny and I could watch a lot of the mid 60s to early mid 70s, like kind of psych movies, or just for the general aesthetic of them and the originality and the work that was put into them at the time. So I thought to myself, with the reflection of a lot of those 60s psych outs, there was always beautiful art to go along with it. And Danny and I, we also do our own art because, you know, we were raised in kind of like an art school at Montessori when we were very small, and even to like 6th grade. But the general aesthetic I wanted to reflect for Black people. You know, I wanted to reflect, what if we had embraced that in the Black community, what would it look like? You know, would it be kind of hippie like? Would it be like, you know, that's kind of what I was thinking. So, and I wanted to see, what if it was transfixed in a Warhol-esque kind of like idea via like Basquiat, you know, for a Black pop art type of kind of thing. You know, I tried to mesh those kind of things together. Because
sorry, Karen.
I mean, sorry, because their details were so great, you know. That's what I was thinking. So I designed a lot of the interior for our first Noir Bizarre. Danny and I designed the logo together, but the overall aesthetic of the interior and the way I wanted it to look was something that I had designed. And, you know, my brother worked on the visuals, so we both did it, you know, really good idea. And the next one I really like to do, I would love it to reflect kind of like the aesthetic of the Belle Epoque, and like kind of like the etching, kind of like in the art itself.
How would you both like to be remembered?
Good question. I mean, it's kind of hard to think about it right now. So you know,
I was just saying, in the millennia, no one remember who you are, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
to me.
But you speak very fondly of other bands, so would I be right in saying that you've always been open to influences from other people?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like a cult band.
Yeah,
but see, that's fine because I never wanted to be. I don't know, it would have been nice to have been rich or something like that, or been what they say, what the equation of what success is. But I mean, I never that wasn't really the point. I just want to take care of my mom you know, have a nice place to live. It wasn't about like, you know, but if it would have happened, it would have been great. But I'm not disappointed.
Thank you. I think it's a good point to end there.
Oh.
All right, that's pretty damn excellent, gentlemen.
You reckon?